Hi everyone, welcome to Showtime Talk. I'm your host Tomoya. On this channel, I talk about Shohei Ohtani, the Angels, and all things baseball. Today, we're fortunate to have Chris Incorvaya and Adam Ziak with us. Chris and Adam were huge Cleveland Indians fans, and they were watching the Indians play against the Angels in Anaheim on April 3rd, 2018. That was the day when Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run in the major leagues. Chris and Adam were sitting in the very first row in the outfield stands, and Chris was actually the first to pick up the home run ball. And what was even more impressive and moving was that Chris immediately handed the ball to a 9-year-old Angels fan who was standing next to him. Today, I'm going to ask them what happened that day and how they reflect on that experience 3 years later. So let's get started. Chris, Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Could you start off by introducing yourselves, your age, where you live, what you do for a living, and your love of the Indians? Chris?
As you said already, I'm Chris Incorvaya. I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Currently reside out of Tampa, Florida. For a living, we are architectural engineers and inspectors of high-rise buildings. I'm currently 36 years of age and still a diehard Indians fan today.
Adam Ziak, 37 years old, also born and raised in Cleveland. I spent the past 8 years in California, 4 in the Bay Area, and then 4 in Southern California and Los Angeles. And I relocated back to Cleveland in mid-March, and also a lifelong Cleveland sports / Indians fan.
Let's talk about your trip to Anaheim in April 2018. Was it your first time at Angel Stadium? Maybe not for Adam, but Chris, was it your first time at Angel Stadium?
It was for me, and we were very fortunate, actually. Adam and I were on business in Southern California, and we actually saw that the Indians were on the schedule, and we said, well, this is a no-brainer. We have to get to these games, and so we looked actively for tickets and found some incredible tickets, obviously, to be in that first row in right field.
Adam, was it your first time?
No, it wasn't my first time. I think I'd been there twice before. I'm a massive Mike Trout fan as well, and so I'd been there before to see him.
How much did you guys buy the tickets for? Do you remember?
I think they were probably 100 a piece, something like that.
How many games did you guys attend?
Yeah, so we attended a total of 2. We had the night before, we were there, and then we came back again. And then we were not intending on going to the third game the next day, which I believe is a day game. We were really fortunate after what transpired that day on the 18th that we were invited back by the Angels and given a pretty amazing opportunity to go to the Diamond Suite, I believe they call that, of the Diamond Club, and spend some time in there. And then they actually put us behind home plate for a while as well.
That's amazing. So they treated you like a VIP after that catch.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. They even offered us the opportunity to come back to the ballpark anytime to just give them a call. They made us feel really special. When we came back that next day, they actually announced our presence at the ball game and put us on the jumbotron. It was really incredible.
Do you have any plans to come back anytime soon?
Yeah, I think so. I had been back actually, and I wanted to give a proper shout out to Brian Sanders. He's the gentleman that facilitated all of this that Chris is speaking about, Brian Sanders. So I want to make sure he gets his due. He is A1 professional, treated us amazingly. And I actually took him up on his offer, and I went back to a game in when the Indians were in town in September of 19. I went back, and he had tickets waiting for me at will call for me and a colleague, and nothing but perfect treatment from him.
How about you, Chris? Have you been back yet?
I haven't yet. So I'm raising a pretty young family. It's a little harder to get on the road these days if it's not strictly business related. But given the opportunity in the area, whether the Indians were in town or the Guardians were in town or not, I would definitely get to the ballpark. And I think I'd reach out to Brian as well to see if he's got anything up his sleeve for me.
Going back to that game, what did you know about Shohei Ohtani coming into it? Chris?
I'm glad you called on me first. I didn't know much of anything about Shohei. And prior to sitting down and getting the seats, Adam and I were at a hotel nearby, and he started telling me about this two-way phenom. And he explained to me very briefly, like, he could be the next Babe Ruth or better. Like there's no one in this modern era that has shown the potential for what he can do. And so I kind of went in unknowing. And didn't truly understand the potential of the player that was Shohei Ohtani.
take me back to the moment when Ohtani hit that home run and it came in your direction. What do you remember seeing, hearing, and thinking? Let's start off with Chris.
We came off the bat. We immediately knew it was coming our way, but I didn't think I was close enough to get it. And in my right ear, Adam's over there saying, "Go get it, get the ball, go, go, go." And I'm like, I'm not jumping over people. I'm not hurdling, any of that. And ironically enough, the inning before, Adam, you want to comment on this? Because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, so when we arrived in the top of the first inning, when the Indians were up, we came down and I was actually in the aisle seat that Chris shifted to after the end of the first inning. There was kind of like a bar above the railing out there, and Chris was like, I can't see what I don't like this seat, and I was like, it's fine, it's whatever, let's flip-flop seats. And then so I went to the seat that we traded, and then so 12 minutes later the ball comes in. Yeah.
Wow. How do you feel about that, Adam?
It was he's right, and I just wanted to go back to that real quick because like it came off the bat, and obviously everybody in the stadium stood up. Everybody knew, and I was like, "It's right there. Put your hands out there. It's right there." As if like bare hand catching a home run ball is like it's just like nothing. It's like easy. It happened so fast, and then he handed the ball off before I even knew, and you can see in the video. Like, I'm like patting him on the back. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And then I'm like, "Where's the ball?" And he's like, "I gave it away." I'm like, "Come on. I thought he put it in his pocket or something." Right. And he's like, "No, I seriously gave it away." And I'm like, and I like sit down and I'm like, "Do you know what you just did?"
Chris, what do you remember? What's your story? What's your side of the story?
Yeah. I mean, it's really similar. Like, that ball was coming at us, and I really wasn't going to try to run for it, and it essentially landed at my feet. I mean, that's really what happened. It came down a couple of stairs behind me, and I still had the chance to grab it, and I picked it up. And we had been chatting, prior to that inning with the boy behind us and his father. We're just kind of going back and forth. And when when I came up with that ball and I saw him looking right up at me, his hands were right down where mine was. It really was a no-brainer for me to hand him that ball. And at the time it was instantaneous, and in the moment, even though I knew it was Shohei's ball that had come over, I knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do to provide this to that kid. I said it before when we chatted, the very first time is, as a fan, he will always appreciate that moment, even though he didn't get to keep the ball. He'll appreciate that moment a heck of a lot more than I ever could.
So when that home run happened, I was sitting in the press box and I walked over to the stands to talk to the person who caught the ball. I first talked to the 9-year-old boy, Matthew Gutierrez, whom all Japanese reporters were interviewing. But then Matthew told me that he got it from the man in front of him, and I was shocked. I thought that should be the real story. And I remember you were just watching the game as though nothing was happening, Chris. Yep. What was going through your mind when everyone, was talking to Matthew?
Yeah, it wasn't about the notoriety of catching the ball. I mean, that little boy was in his absolute glory. I couldn't have imagined at his age being in a better position. There was no stealing the limelight. There was no interest in stepping into that. I think what you give out in the world will come back to you. And, just the opportunity to have gone and met Ohtani and been a part of that, get his autographed on an authentic jersey and ultimately photo op was enough in return for what we had done.
Adam, what was going through your mind?
It was about halfway through the game, and I was still, admittedly, I've since dropped it, but for a while after that, I was upset about the situation because it was a piece of baseball history. But about halfway through the game, Matthew leans over to his dad behind us, and it was like the ballpark. It got very quiet for a second, and he said, "Chris, you can second this." He said something along the lines of, "This is the greatest day of my life," or something along those lines, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So that kind of helped soften it for me, because I remember when I was 9 years old going to Indians games, and I couldn't imagine what the whole situation would feel like. So
tell me what happened afterward. Chris?
Well, one, we had an opportunity to get an interview with you, which was fantastic. You were really the first one to come over to us and ask us questions about the experience and kind of record what had happened. There were a few other people that came over and had asked some questions, and then we sort of settled in. The game started, going again, and we started watching. And the father and son had been asked to go meet with some staff of the Angels, and so they left the seats and they walked up. And at that moment, I looked over to Adam and I said, "We're not going to meet Ohtani." And he goes, "I don't think so, man." And I was like, we're devastated, right? We're sitting, waiting for the game. The 8th inning rolls around, the 9th inning rolls around, and he looks at me, he's like, "Let's get out of here. We're not going to meet him." We're walking out of the stadium and my phone rings, and Brian Sanders is on the other line. He says, they want you down here. They want you to help present the ball to Ohtani. All right. And so then the genius Adam is, go ahead and take over here, Adam. We're walking to this area.
We walked out of the section that we were seated in, and we got to the top of the concourse, and it was like, as soon as he hung up the phone, he's like, "You're not going to believe this." I was kind of eavesdropping, so I understood what was going on already. And we turned our eyes, and there was an Angels team shop right there. And you're not gonna go meet Ohtani and come empty-handed. And so we immediately beeline for the team shop and got his jersey, the home whites. And so we were ready to meet him and get an autograph on a jersey.
Take me through that when you got from the team's shop to getting to meet Ohtani. What happened, Chris?
Heart racing, number one. We knew this was a pretty incredible experience and moment to be had. And he is, as people have said over the last several months and over probably last year, especially, that he's excelling right now. He's larger than life. I mean, his presence in front of him, it's not like meeting a typical MLB player. I mean, you could just feel it. It was very unique.
Chris is right. He, even back then, which now it's 20x, he had that aura about him that when he turned the corner out of the locker room, and it was like a rock star presence. You knew that he was right around the corner from being a star. And I've said this so many times recently when I show off the jersey, the signed jersey, and it's like, this is the most popular athlete in the world right now.
Tell us about the interaction you had with Ohtani and other team staff members.
It was, as I'm sure you can imagine, it was very brief. He presented the young boy with a signed bat for the trade-off. And I know there was some other things. I think that they offered tickets and an assortment of other items for handing the ball out over to him. And then Chris and I got a jersey signed. And then we did, like, it was really briefly just like shaking hands and a group photo. And that was it. It was just a few minutes.
Have you guys ever caught a foul ball or home run ball at a major league stadium?
No way. Not even close.
Nope. Not one time. I always dreamed of it.
And that was the first one. All right.
It was.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also watch our past videos from the description below. Hope to see you again next time.